And then what happened after that?
CC was first. She did have a blanket. She had a blue blanket.
So was she alive when she went into the oil tank? No?
I put the blanket over her head.
And that's how she passed. Couldn't breathe.
I put the blanket over her head. I didn't want to. No. I strangled her right there in the back seat.
Okay.
What was Bella doing?
She's sitting right beside her.
Did she understand? Did she know what was going on?
She didn't say anything.
And then the same for Bella? Just without a blanket?
With the blanket.
Oh, okay.
I didn't look. It's like every time I closed my eyes, I just hear her saying, "Daddy, no," and that was it.
That's what Bella said.
I hear that every day.
Sorry, man.
Sorry doesn't really take anything back that hit.
I know. Is it possible that in your mind you didn't want them to suffer throughout their life? Was this like a mercy thing?
I mean, you can say that like after the fact, but it was just like, I don't.
You didn't feel like that during it?
I just didn't. I felt like it was just like an anger with Shanann, with everything, that I was just taking it out on everybody that was in front of me that morning.
Yeah.
I mean, kids growing up without their parents, depending on what grandparents or whoever they grew up with, seemed to be fine. But it was just like, it was an anger thing. It was just like.
And what were you so angry at Shanann about? Like if you could pinpoint it.
Nothing that makes anybody to want to do this. I mean, you could be angry at your spouse like your whole life, but you should never have done anything like this. You should never let it get to that point. But I let it get to a point where I've never been angry before. Like, and this was like the epitome of being angry.
Yeah.
The epitome of like showing a rage. The epitome of like losing your mind. I mean, even like some people in here said, dude, like, the heck happened? You must have freaking snapped. And like, I just walked away. I'm just like, it's right now I'd have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and more than likely a 1-month-old son. And a beautiful wife. And just like, right now it's just me.
You mentioned Bella was first. Cece was first, okay. Where exactly was she when it happened?
In the back seat.
Okay, was she just right next to Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so once again, was it a hand over her face? Was it?
There was a blanket over and my hand.
And then your hand, okay. And then so that just stopped her from breathing type thing? Okay, did she struggle at all?
I don't think so, but I was blocking her face and my hand was right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had one hand here and one hand over her mouth?
And were you just pushing her against the back of the seat type thing? Okay. What was Bella doing?
She was sitting there next to it. She didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Could she see you? Okay. And then, did that take a minute or two?
Didn't feel it. Nothing. I didn't have no like concept at the time at this
Okay.
point.
Okay. Tell me about what you were thinking.
I wasn't. If I was thinking, it's what would happen.
Yeah.
What I feel for those girls and what I feel for my wife, but none of this would have happened. So I wasn't thinking.
Okay. So she's in the back seat. Okay. And then once she's gone, then is it Bella next, or did you pull Cece out?
I pulled CC out.
Okay, so once Cece's gone, Bella's still there in the car alive, and then you pulled Cece out. What'd you do with her?
And that thing.
Okay. So she went into the tank, and Bella was still in the back of the truck alive. Okay. With regard to that tank, did you bring up Cece, put her down, open the hatch,
Brought her up, opened the hatch.
and then put her in? Okay. When we talked the very first time we met, when we were talking about this, it was a matter of just lowering her down. Okay, and so she went in feet first. Okay. Was she able to fit pretty well? Was it snug?
I think so.
Okay. Did you have to like move her around a little bit and get her in there?
I think so.
Okay. All right.
But no, I didn't have to hit her
Okay.
anything like that.
It's not like you stomped her in?
No.
Okay. And then close the hatch?
Yes.
Okay. And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened there.
She said what happened to Cece. Or she asked if it was the same thing, the exact same thing that happened to me as Cece.
Did she ask you that? Okay. So Bella's pretty smart. How did she sound when she asked you that, Chris?
So that soft voice she always had.
Yeah. And what exactly did she say?
She said exactly the same thing that happened to me as Cece. And then I said, I don't even remember what I said.
Okay.
I don't know if I just said yes, like a horrible person, or if I just put that blanket over her too and did the same thing.
Same blanket, same way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She said, no, Daddy. And that's the last thing she said.
Did she say no, Daddy, like, please, no, Daddy type thing? Did she say saying, don't do it?
And she said, no, Daddy.
Okay. Same way, hand on neck, hand over mouth, or hand over blanket, which is over mouth? Okay. Did that take a couple minutes?
Feel like it.
Okay. Then what?
I just noticed she had a couple spots like over her eye or something, and I picked her up and same thing.
Okay. So once the girls were gone, was it also just a minute by minute thing as far as the oil tanks?
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I mean, just thinking about an oil tank just makes me want to throw up.
And was that just because it was in front of you and there it was and it just presented itself? It wasn't a plan beforehand? Okay. Was there any reason why the separate ones?
No, it's like you said, it was like going up the stairs, and it just didn't. No, like what Frank said, is like I was trying to separate everybody. That's not.
No.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't want to separate anybody.
What was the reason?
I can't even tell you. It was like I said, like something else was in control of what I was doing, and it was like I was doing something I never thought I would ever do in my life.
Okay. Does one, I never got up there, does one catwalk lead to both?
Oil can go into either tank.
Okay. But if you go up one set of ladders, does that eventually indicate to both?
It's one catwalk.
Okay. Now Bella was a little bit bigger. Was she harder to get in?
It felt like it a little bit.
Okay. And so was it a matter of just kind of maneuvering her? All right. So then they're both in there. Is there any reason to think they were alive when they fell in? Okay. You're pretty sure? Okay. So once that's done, then what?
Go over to Shanann, clear away some weeds, and I dig a hole.
Okay. Did you have a shovel?
Yeah, we have a shovel, a rake, and a weed whacker as part of our tools.
With that rake, if I remember right, it was...
Part of it was sitting there because it was broken.
Oh, did it break as you were digging or something?
Now when I was smoothing the ground over.
On this day? It broke when you were doing that? Okay. Was that after you were all done? And it seemed as though maybe the first people that got there saw it. Was it stuck in the ground?
I guess it was like, not like standing up, but it was like laying down.
Oh, okay. Were you planning on coming back?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. At this point then, this is just before then, in a couple of hours, you would make it back home to see Officer Conrad. Okay. And so once she's buried, then
That's when people start showing up, I believe.
did you notice, was she cut or broken or bleeding in any way?
No, I mean, I know like the bloodshot eyes you were talking about. I noticed that at that point.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
Had she partially given birth?
No.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. Remember, she had a shirt and I think blue underwear on.
Okay. And so at that point, she was, okay. Thank you. I know that wasn't easy.
Can you tell us about, obviously you know when the district attorney got up and talked about Bella's injuries and stuff,
I didn't want to hear about that.
right? Can you tell us about that?
As far as like her biting her tongue,
And ripping her frenulum, which is that connective skin from your lip to your gum, it was gone. Her gums had it looked like a hole in them and the pathologist said it was from her obviously struggling to get away.
I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Could it be that that's what happened?
So like, I didn't put my hand like over her, like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it would have been just downward pressure on this area.
I didn't see any of that when I picked her back up. Like was it like her lip was like missing or something?
No, see this skin that connects there?
Yeah.
That was ripped. Like, it was gone. So it kind of made like a hole in her gum.
I'm just thinking maybe it's like, maybe like if her head was like twisting back and forth, could that have done that?
Yeah.
If I had a blanket, I don't know, like.
Did you feel her doing that thrashing or trying to get away?
I felt her head moving back and forth,
You did?
but I didn't know that happened.
Could you tell if she was trying to yell or say anything or?
The only thing was the daddy no, and then like some like a grunt here and there, trying to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about the trash bags? Do you remember that?
Oh, with
There were two.
oh, with okay, yeah, it's trying to, because like the sheet kept. I didn't want to, like when I was putting the one coherent, I guess, thing I had, like I didn't want the girls looking at Shanann while they were in the back seat.
So what'd you do?
I put a trash bag on one end and on her feet and on her head, so they didn't have to see.
Okay. And they were just too little to kind of figure out, right?
Yeah, they didn't notice.
Okay. That's good.
I just know, like when I was driving up there, I mean, they were just, sitting there just, kind of asleep or kind of just like, holding on to each other, laying in each other's laps. I didn't.
Do you remember having any thoughts or thinking about why not just putting them all together with Shanann?
Honestly, it was just happening so fast. I had no time to really have a thought that was my own.
Okay.
But I wasn't like dutifully trying to separate anybody
Yeah.
passing away, trying to keep anybody separate. And everything, Frank, Sandy, and Frankie said, like I don't hold it against them. I mean, they can hate me for they have a right to hate me for the rest of their lives.
They don't hate
They
you.
don't. In fact, while we're on the subject, I speak with them weekly, and I told them that we were going to come here and then hopefully would speak with us. And they told me to tell you, understandably, they're devastated. But they actually said that they love you. They still love you. And Sandy explained it. You know, he's our son-in-law for 8 years. I can't just turn that off. So they don't hate you. They don't.
That's amazing to hear that.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you, Sandy was the one that was most resistant to penalties in this case. And she said that. She told me that from the very beginning. That she didn't want that. It's God's decision. It's not her decision. And then she told me that even then. So it's not just a one-time thing that she has said it to me. It's been over the whole course of the event. So that's probably one of the most honest things someone's ever told me. You know, so it's pretty amazing. You know, faith is. You know, she's obviously a believer. So am I. I get it. So I understand it. You know, so.
That's amazing to even hear that.
Yeah. Good people.
I would have figured they would have hated me for.
They don't. I mean, yeah, anybody would think that. I certainly would have, but I have to admit I was surprised, really taken back by that. But they certainly don't.
What did they say when they knew you were coming out here?
They said they want to know, details because they need closure. And that's really all they want, and they want to keep it private. And I said, well, absolutely. We'll talk to them about what you told us, and just so they can put it past them, because they're having a hard time dealing with it and trying to get past it all. And I think that may help, just to know.
Closures, I mean, my parents still think, like I told them I pled guilty for a reason.
Right.
And like I told it to them when they had that video phone thing in Colorado the day before. Like I pled guilty. Like I plead guilty for a reason.
Would you ever want them to know what you're telling us today?
I'd rather just tell them myself.
Yeah.
But they're coming. I think they're gonna try to make a visit in like May or so.
So they don't, do they still think that Shanann killed the girls?
They still believe that, even though I told them I pled guilty for a reason, but they think that I was, their words like railroaded by illegals.
Yeah.
Because they felt like they pressured me to do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that?
No.
No.
They asked me plenty of times. This is like, they wanted to fight. Like if I said fight, they would have just, gone and,
Put on their gloves.
yeah, just went in there and did it. Yeah, it's like, no, I can't have you do that.
So Chris, you care about others deeply. I can tell. You worry about others. And I've asked you, a bunch of times today, but you're not just telling us that you did it because you feel bad for Shanann's memory. You did it? Okay.
Why were you so angry at Shanann?
I don't know if it was just because of separating me and my family, pretty much. Because, it happened at the wedding. Like, that's the reason they didn't come to the wedding. I blew up at my family to a point where I said some horrible things to them back in 2012 that I pretty much told my family that, I don't need them anymore. Because I have, I don't know if it was just like Shanann coaching me on to do it, or if it was just like rage that was like I'd never seen before. And then I don't know if it was just everything that happened in July with they can't see my kids, and I'm not sure if they're ever going to go see them again. I don't know. And it was just like, I don't know if that had something to do with it, that something inside of me just triggered it, and then just like all that pins up from the wedding and everything, just like it's like a long fuse that finally just went to its end.
What happened in 2012?
There was my mom and Shanann, just like from when I proposed to her, it was at the beach, and from then on, it was just like, she always went up to Shanann and was like, I didn't need a ring like that when I was your age. I didn't need all these fancy things when I was your age. And just kind of kept boiling over, and then they never agreed on anything. It was just like, we didn't really need their help to do anything. We just like, so we'll just pay for it ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And, it was just back and forth. And I think maybe my mom just never thought she was good enough. She always thought she was hiding something from me.
She always thought Shanann was hiding something? Like what?
That stuff from her past, or like,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So then what was the blow up at the wedding about?
It was just my mom and pretty much my sister just didn't like her.
Oh.
They just thought, that that Shanann had taken me away from them and moved me out to Colorado.
Oh.
Because we were in Colorado when we flew back to get married.
Oh, okay.
Because we went to Colorado for Thanksgiving to visit some friends, and we decided to move out there like a couple months later.
Okay.
So that was like April. I moved out there April 2012, and we got married in November 2012 in North Carolina. So they always thought I was just taking, that she took me away out there. And
Is
then
there something with invitations or something? Your sister was supposed to send invitations.
Yeah, there was. Okay, now you're bringing some memories back. There's something to do with that, and then my sister wanted, her kids. Oh, my sister wanted her kids as like the ring bearer and like something else, ring bearer and flower girl. And then Shanann she told her no, or wait, either Shanann told her no or Jamie backed out because of something else, and then it just like all blew up.
And is that pretty close to the wedding?
Yes. Yeah, within a couple weeks.
Did they go to the wedding, your family?
My grandma did.
But your parents and your sister did not go.
Ronnie wasn't there either?
No. Nobody was there. It was my grandma was there, and then like the dance when the groom dances with his mom, I'm dancing with Mark's mom and my grandmother.
It's sad, isn't it? I mean, it all comes from a place of love, them loving you and not wanting to get stolen. And
It was a great day. I mean, everybody was really happy. I mean, it's always just rang in the back of my head they were never there, and every time they look at pictures, it's just like, oh, where's they're not there. Never knew if they actually were going to come anyways, but
And so then when Tammy was asking, why were you so mad at Shanann? Was part of it just this whole family strife?
that's the only thing I can think of right now, because I mean, there's no other reason really to be mad at her. Because we took care of each other our whole 8 years. It was just like a good relationship. I mean, it's just like, if I never met Nikki, would I ever have, thought our relationship was bad? I would not.
Interesting.
That's one thing I always thought about. Like, even Nikki asked me, like, if I don't want you. She said, I don't want you to leave your wife just because of me. I'm just like, what do you mean? She said, well, just if you met me, like, would you have known? I'm like, no. So I never thought I would have strayed away from her at all. Like, I've never tried to follow anybody,
Right.
Was Shanann checking your phone, or
She always had my phone.
she was always checking your phone? So how did you get past that?
I use my work phone.
To text? And you had some secret apps, right?
That was on my personal phone.
Were you using anything else to have contact with her?
What do you think of yourself now?
I don't back when all this happened, when I was in Will County and everything, I definitely didn't feel like myself anymore. Like when my attorneys would talk to me and talk to some of my friends, and like some of the stuff they would say, like they would say good things, but I'm just thinking to myself, how could anybody even saying those things about me now, being what happened, is like people that I knew and that I never talked to again, that like maybe I was like the roommate like back in the day, or like went to school with, or something like that. Now they're just gonna say, that's, you know, it's like Chris Watts, that's, you know, a guy I went to high school, that's the guy I like to know, he did all this horrible stuff to his family. And now it's like, I know I shouldn't really, you know, take to heart what other people think about me so much. It's just a matter of like what God thinks about me, what He thinks, what His opinion is, not anybody else's. Because I mean, everybody's gonna have their opinion about everybody. Like before I got in trouble, I mean, I was always the guy, hey, look, or judge somebody on TV, you know, like that guy that's no orange junction, that guy that's, you know, that killed that guy that raped somebody, you know, like, oh, you know, that guy's horrible. Now I'm and it's like, now like when we come out at like 6 o'clock at night and there's something on the news, like I try not to even pay attention to it. It's like I don't want to be in that position where I'm judging somebody else, because that's, you know, what people were doing to me. I don't want to be that person anymore, but I just hope that I can, you know, step back and kind of look at everything that I've done in my life, and then like up to that point, and just like I did some good things, but no matter of the most important thing, I screwed up the worst. And so if I can at least maybe help somebody, and however much time I have left.
Was it your intent the whole time you were taking the girls out there that you were gonna do that to them? Honestly,
It's like when I got there, I didn't think it was gonna, like you talking about the tanks, or just,
yeah. Like, well, just
I mean, I just thought process and all this, none of this makes sense. That's why I know you guys keep asking these questions, because it doesn't make sense to me.
But I guess, I mean, like, did you could have done it before you guys left
I don't.
and not had him, you know, alive in the back seat. They could have been with Shanann in the back seat and
I
stuff.
didn't think about anything really, like as far as like how everything was gonna happen. I don't know like why it happened, like why I left everything out there in the field, and why like all this stuff. Like just, none of this makes sense at all.
But to Tammy's point, did you think that they might be coming back, or did you know they wouldn't be coming back?
No, I mean, the whole trip out there, I mean, it was like I wasn't thinking. It was like, in my mind right now, I'm thinking back, I'm hoping that I wasn't coherent enough to make that decision to where I knew I was going to kill my girls. I'm just hoping that, you know, like no father would ever want to do anything to hurt his blood and flesh, but I did that, and I just don't understand how it happened. So, I mean, I even read books that say, you know, like no dad would ever do anything to hurt his children, and this happened. So I always think of myself like, was I even a dad at one point? I don't know. But it's just gonna take a long time to guilt and everything to get just the.
Have you asked for forgiveness from God?
It just takes a long time for me to forgive myself, and that's one thing that's not there. I just hope that they can one day forgive me too.